Hello, welcome to Record Time. My name is Mina, and I'm delighted to be here with you. I'm excited to share a perspective from the Akashic Records, and as always, this is just a perspective, and you're absolutely welcome to pick it up, try it on, consider it, chew on it, see if you like it, and if you don't like it, you are always welcome to just peacefully leave it and move on. So with that, I'd love to share a little free sample from the Akashic Records. So this week they're sharing, who you are is how you be. Not how you wish you were, not how you think you are, not how you say you are, not how you used to be. Who you are is the way you actually be. Who you are is how you actually be, moment to moment. And because you exist moment to moment, because who you are exists moment to moment, it is impermanent and ever new. Who you are exists moment to moment. And so in that way, it is impermanent and ever new. Okay, so what do we do with that? You could absolutely just pause this here and contemplate this on your own. But we'll also I'll spend a moment musing on this a little bit with the records. So with that musing on who we are, it might be relevant to ask the question, why does that matter? Why does it matter to be connected to be aware of who we are, who we actually are? Something interesting they said in that was, who you are is how you be, not how you think you are, not how you say you are, but how you actually are, how you actually be, moment to moment. And that's really fascinating because that means that there could be a difference there between who we think we are and who we say we are and who we actually are. So they're bringing awareness to the possibility of dissonance there, a discrepancy between who we think we are and who we actually are, who we wish we were and who we actually are, who we claim to be and who we actually are. And so what is the point? Why does it matter? Why is it valuable to be in contact with who we actually are? And that being who you actually are might not appeal to everybody. And so if that doesn't appeal to you, that's okay. You don't have to do anything about it. You don't have to endeavor to be who you actually are. And yet there is value there. There's value in being who you actually are. And part of that value is a connection to your own nature, right? Organicity, organicness. And in that there's like a fluidity to that. There's a flow to that, a naturalness. It's like how nature just is. And we've been talking about this in many ways over the last many weeks, if not months, on Record Time. And so all of these musings that the records have shared about connecting to your organic emergence, your natural way of being, your true nature, all of that. This is what we're talking about. It's being in contact with who you actually are. And again, it's like, what is the value of that? Not everyone might see the value of that. But for me, now, with the records, in this moment, when I connect to the value of being who you are, there is such a deep, ancient, intrinsic honoring of life that's present in that. There is something reverent about that. There is something, reverent. There's something reverent about that, like a reverence for life, a reverence for your nature, for your own beingness, for if you believe that something designed you or made you, if there's a divine quality to life, then being who you are is a completely devotional act of reverence to that divine that made you a certain way on purpose, not by accident. So if you ascribe to the belief that, something made me, I am the way I am for a reason, I'm not here by accident. If any of that is kind of in your realm of perspective and playful beliefs, and even if it's not, even if there's just like a desire to honor life, to be connected with your own aliveness, your own nature, naturalness, all of that. It doesn't even have to be this kind of like spiritual, broader thing. It could just be, I want to be connected to my own vitality and aliveness, my own nature. So whether it feels like it's connected to something external and broad, or if it's something just totally internal and alive, either way, being who you are is in complete harmony with that. It's the deepest act of service you can do to honor that life, that divinity, the thing that made you or the thing that you are, whatever it is. And so again, that might not appeal to everyone, but if that's something that sounds nice to you, if you can feel it in you as you're hearing the words, right, to deeply honor life, being who you are is the most inherent, beautiful, organic way to do that. And so that's the value. And you might hear the value in that, or you might not. But if that feels valuable to you, if you innately just sense that there's value in being who you are, then the next question that might seem relevant is, well, how do we do that? How do we come closer to being who we are, if that's something that we want to do, if that's something that we would find valuable in our own experience? How do we be who we are? What if there is a difference between who I think I am and who I say I am and who I actually am? How do I bridge that gap and come back to who I actually am? And the answer that they're offering, can you guess? Can you guess? Practice. Practice. Practice being who you are. That's what we're talking about when we talk about all these tools, all the practices. When I talk about practice, when the records, they talk about practice a lot. What is the practice? That comes in so many forms. The practice is practicing being who you are. That's what meditation is. That's what all spiritual practice essentially is. That's what somatic practices are. That's what all the personal development stuff is really essentially about. That's what we're doing here. That's the whole point of all of this, like, musing and all this stuff. Why bother, looking to the Akashic Records? Why bother doing all of the different modalities? It's to be who you are. And we do that by practicing. And there's so many different ways you can practice doing that. But that is why daily practice of self-connection has been around for eons. This isn't new, to have a daily practice, a spiritual practice, a personal practice, whatever words resonate with you, but to do something every day that connects you to yourself, who you actually are, not who you think you are, not who you say you are, not who you wish you were, not who you used to be, but who you actually are right now in this moment. That's what the practice is. It's to bring you back to that. And the more that we practice being who we actually are, the easier it gets to exude that, to be from that place, even outside the container of our practice. So if we have a 10-minute daily practice, if you do that every day, you might notice that that practice naturally, without you trying, expands outside of your 10-minute practice. You might notice that you're being who you are when you're at the grocery store for a moment, or with a friend in an interaction, with your pet, by yourself, at your job. You might notice that your practice of being who you are has a radiance to it. It has a kind of like, an emanating, an eminence to it, where it kind of leaks out really beautifully outside of the container of your 10 minutes on the meditation cushion or the 30 minutes on the yoga mat or whatever your practice is. So that's what we're talking about. That's what we're doing. And the records are spending this moment reminding us what we're doing here, because it's easy to forget. It's easy to get caught up in the practice itself and forget what the point of the practice is, to forget what the essence of it is, which is to be who you are. If that is something you want to do, and if it's not something you want to do, then you don't have to do these practices. Or you can engage with the practices with a different intentionality. That's fine too. The practices are very flexible in that way. You can do these practices with the intention of being who you are, or you can do them with a different intention if there's something else that you want out of them. And that's completely valid and great too. And you can just do them just for no reason also. That's also fine. But they're just bringing us back to the essence of this, of like, why are you doing what you're doing? Do you have a desire to be who you really are? If you do, then all of these practices can serve that purpose. And what do we get out of being who we are? We get this deeply old, ancient, natural sense of communing with life, being in harmony with life, alignment, soul alignment, alignment with life, whatever it is, however you phrase it, that's what we're talking about.